Hello everyone and welcome to this version of Ankh Tide. This is the second version of the deck, trying to focus more on weenies because we found out in the last Moxforge league that with the combination between Ankh of Mishra and having not enough weenies is not a good thing if we want to pressure opponents. So basically what this deck tries to do, and if you don't know the combo already, is you have Parallax Tide, which can remove fading counters to exile lands, and you have Ankh of Mishra, which is basically dealing 2 damage every time a land comes back into play. So ideally, you want to go to exile 5 of your opponent's lands. While doing that, you already have weenies on the board to also protect the weenies with Mother of Runes here. You deal a bit of damage, and then afterwards the lands come back and you deal tops 10 damage in the process. And it also utilizes Exalted Angel to close out games. There's a bit of like a tweak I did there. We excluded the standstills from the deck, and instead went with 3 mana leaks and 1 Daze for the spice here, and also trimmed 1 Mox Diamond because the fast mana is not that important in this deck. So about the sideboard real quick, we can turn our deck into a much more control build with Wrath of God. We have the Aura of Silence against Enchantress, Silver Knights against Burn and any red decks, as well as the Circle of Protection red. The Enlightened Tutor can find us the Circle of Protection or the Aura of Silence if needed, or even a Tormod Crypt for graveyard-based decks. And then we have the Annul for the Dreadnought and every enchantment or artifact based deck. So this is the deck. Let's hop into the games and see how it goes. Okay, we're here for round 1. We are on the play, and this is a 1-lander that we potentially could ship. We got double Savannah Lions, so and a sword and a Daze. If we can find an island, this hand looks great. So I will try to keep this. We'll see. We're on the play, so I think we can put enough pressure with the 2 Savannah Lions. So let's start from there, right? We're up against Bifster. Never played against him before, so let's see. Something green. Is it elves? No, it's Birds of Paradise. Okay. Okay, that's a sword. We can like sword the bird instead of bolt the bird, but we'll attack first. I'm a bit worried that he comes up with Pernicious Deed next turn on 3 mana if he's playing black, and I will rather keep him, since I have double sword, I will keep him from developing his board. Of course, if he has like a wall there that blocks my Savannah Lions would be awful, but okay, there's another bird. And a Wooded Foothills, okay. Okay, there's our second mana source. So I think what we can do first is attack here. And I probably, since I have the Daze, I will deploy, we'll get an island, and we will deploy the Ankh of Mishra here. So that if he, okay, he didn't fetch, so that's 2 additional damage coming from here. There we go. Probably he doesn't know what the Ankh of Mishra does, but let's see. So now he has, okay, that's a Wasteland, that's another 2 damage. And you can see Ankh of Mishra is doing a shit ton of work here already. A 4 mana Blast Tutor. We could have like actually dazed that. But I think it's okay. Now we get 2 damage from our side. And he needs to put some pressure on us. You can use the Wasteland on the Skycloud Expanse, that's fine. I will play the Savannah line here, and we can raise that, right? So if he swings with, I would rather counter something that actually does something to our board here. Because if he swings, like this has fading, so we can swing back. And if he has another 4-drop, I will now Daze the 4-drop. Probably also hardcast Daze here. Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it. And it depends if he wants to go all in here and just attack and raise me, but he doesn't choose not to. So this is basically what I just meant by we can put the pressure later on. Maybe that was a mistake, but I don't think so. So now we leave up Mana Leak. And he's now on fading 1 already, and we have the Mana Leak for his potential next Avalanche Rider. You could argue that I should have... Okay, there's the Naturalize. Do we even care? Do we care about this? So he has 4 cards in hand. We have a sword that can cover a lot of stuff. Can put us down to 2 lands. I think we let this go. This dealt like 6 damage, so that's a good exchange. And of course, if he now like gets rid of the Skycloud, then we can't Mana Leak anymore. But I think I will float blue-white here and just let this go. And if he changes phases right here, I think like if we sort the bird right here, he has 2 mana next turn, and he's quite a big guy, right? He has those Avalanche Riders and all of this stuff. I think it makes sense to just swords the bird here. And if he plays another land in the second main, we can then utilize our Weathered Wayfarer to get ourselves a Mishra or something. Okay, that's a Conclusion Forest. There's a Mother of Runes. Yeah, so I will definitely activate this one. And now the question is, do I want to keep up Mana Leak, or do I want to keep him off 4 mana? And I think the easiest part here is to get a Wasteland, because this has fading, so it's going to go away eventually. So I don't need to counter a 3-drop, I would say, but I want to counter 4-drops, right? So this holds the fort at the moment, but I bet that next turn, if this is going away, then we can start pressuring him. And I have the Mana Leak as a backup. And if I draw a land, I can also... Okay. Sure. And still he has a lot of... I bet he has a lot of 4-drops in hand. So we'll do this. We drew the Wasteland, so the question will be if I need another white source the turn after. So I guess I take the Flooded Strand here, get the Wasteland out, and just pressure his mana again. And then the Blastodam goes away. This hasn't dealt any damage to us, right? just to make sure. Like this was a Blastoderm as a wall, which makes sense. But now we kept him from 3 mana. Now there's a Phantom Elf, that's fine. And now we can start pressuring him, right? And I think what we're gonna do is we fetch here. I do get a blue source, I think. The activation of the Wayfarer costs 1 white. He won't be, like, if we are on 3 lands, he will catch up on 4. And I want to have Mana Leak up. Because he didn't play any land last turn, so the 2 damage here is not that relevant. So I will offer him the trait. And forcing, like, 3 damage through. And that's my game. Okay, cool. So 4 sideboarding. Whoa, this is big. 4 sideboarding. This is not intended. It's a bit smaller, please. Thank you, Magic Online. All right, so we saw that he's quite creature heavy. I didn't see any artifacts or anything around that. Um, we saw that he is primarily targeting our lands. He has some Avalanche Riders, but I don't want to put Silver Knights on them. They will blank them, but I don't know, like if this is the right call. I haven't seen anything else, right? There was only like birds and um, Blastoderm and stuff like that. So I think what's not that great in this matchup, especially on the draw, is the like he wants to go to 4 mana. Daze is probably okay-ish. The swords are fine. I think with the 2 Wrath of God, I just sorted in, and we are on the draw. Wayfarers we keep. Mother of Runes we keep as well. I think we can trim 1 Ankh and 1 Parallax Tide. I think that's the right pick here. Because Angel wins on its own. Like, we're pretty well set against this deck already, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, that's a keeper, right? We have, unfortunately, we have the Daze and no island, but I take it. I mean, turn 1 Savannah Lion, turn 2 Ankh, or Seal of Cleansing. The Seal of Cleansing is interesting. I don't know if he plays Survival or if he plays like the Yavimaya, how is it called? Fires of Yavimaya, just to get more damage through. Okay, there's the Find on Elves. Maybe I should have trimmed 1 Savannah Lion. I'm not sure. We take a damage here and deploy our Savannah Lion. So next turn, hopefully we'll draw an island so I can play Ankh plus Daze. Okay, another 4-drop game. Basically, I want to offer the trade here. So if he takes that trade, I'm fine. Okay, so basically I want to keep up Hardcast Daze because I know his deck is full of 4-drops. And the Daze is pretty valuable here. Yeah, there we go. So Hardcast Daze on that. Flame Tongue Kabu. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So that's a Weathered Wayfarer. I think his tops is 4 mana, and we want to get him off of that mana, obviously, but we can't at the moment. I think Ankh is not the right play here. We could deploy an Exalted Angel and hope that he is looking for getting Flame Tongue, has no Flame Tongue Kabu again. I think that's the right play. And I will also play the Adarkar Wastes because then if he has an Avalanche Rider, he will blow up one of these anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if I only play Mishra, he will definitely go for the Adarkar Wastes. So probably, hopefully, he goes for the Mishra because it's also a threat to him. Let's see how that goes. Okay, another land. Okay, Blastoderm is fine. I love Blastoderm for days against... Okay, that's a bolt. That's awful. But we can deal with that, right? So now I deploy the Mox Diamond. And basically what we can do here is we can play our hand. Because next turn I can utilize the Wayfarer. And I don't need the second factory because like I don't care about this Blastoderm damage, to be honest, at this point. And I want to pressure him with like playing his lands. So I can backswing here. Okay. Take the 5, down to 13. And there's another big threat, probably. Hermit, okay. Whoops. That's a lot of damage. And another bolt? Wow. Tough draws, tough draws. Okay, let's pack that in. Nothing, no way we can win from here. So see, if we could have drawn a Wrath of God or a Parallax Tide earlier, then we would have dealt the damage that was left. I think now that I saw Flame Tongue Kavu as well, I will consider putting the Silver Knights in. Because he has Lightning Bolts and I want to blank those, and he can, like, I can name Lightning Bolt as well in the Meddling Mage, which we haven't drawn a single one yet. I do think since he's so mana heavy, I will go all in on the Parallax Tide play. But I think the Ankh of Mishra is now on the play not that great. The Seal of Cleansing definitely go out because he has literally never shown anything that we could target with that. Corp Red could be. Like, I rather like the Silver Knights. But he has also the Blastoderms. I don't know. Like, this is a tough decision. I think I'd rather go with the Circle of Protection Red. Well, it's to you this turn, so it's also not that great. So maybe we can go with that split just to put another pressure, another weenie on there, get some pressure going. Or we can, you know what? We can go all in with the Ankh of Mishras again. Like, I don't care if he, like, if we got Mother of Runes out, it's definitely a blank for the Kavu. So let's see how that goes. And this is a fine hand. We can keep that on a play. Especially, I do want to go turn 1 Wayfarer. And only turn 1 Mox and Wayfarer. So I can activate it the turn later because he needs to deploy a land. And if he has like exactly Lightning Bolts, fair enough. I don't set myself like back here. I will, like, I saw that he played Wasteland, but I'm not really scared about that. So let's kickstart it with the Weathered Wayfarer and hold back the lands. And if he starts with a basic, like for example, he goes like land Llanowar, for example, or Fintown Elves. Okay, if he has exactly bolts, he has it. Okay, it's fair enough. And that's what I meant with we don't set ourselves back here. Actually, I want to deploy the Mishra here. So I want to pressure with the Mishra as well later on. And I don't need to sword in his turn, I don't think. I could use some counters on this hand. Like, this land draw was not ideal. Okay, we got too many lands here, but I think we can pressure him a bit. So activate the Mishra, get in, maybe force a Lightning Bolt from his hand. That would be great, like okay-ish. And now we can get the Flooded Strand out. So let's see, he's on 16. I could use a counter spell. That would be ideal. Also, Mother of Runes would be a good draw. Wow, another land. That's way too many lands. His deck is all 4-drops apparently. So I will get him down to 12 here. And I will fetch definitely, since I don't want to draw any more lands. So thin out my deck a little bit. There's the 4th land. Now, there comes a Kavu or something like that, potentially. Yeah, that's the Kavu. Way too many lands. So I will fetch here, get a basic plains and get a basic islands. So the question is, do I need to deploy anything next turn? Potentially, like the best thing I can draw. I will sort that anyway, right? And we can get the four life that he gets back. He gets literally 2 because we have the Mishra. There's a Daze. Not ideal here. I think I don't keep the lands because I can hardcast an Angel eventually. So I will just activate the Mishra, get in, and then hold Daze up. I think Daze is really bad in this spot because he's probably gonna get out the 5th land if he has it. Yeah, that's an Ancient Tomb even. Oh, so he can pay for Daze. Okay. A Bailoff. So he's getting health back anyway. Doesn't make any sense. It's only like red, green big beaters, apparently. I do want to get this Ankh of Mishra out, because if I draw, like, I'm not so reliant on the lands. And if I get, like, if I get the Tide out, it would be great to get all of his lands and then deal 10 to him. Especially if he taps the Ancient Tomb 1 or 2 times. Avalanche Rider. Sure. Gets my Mishra. All right, there's the Wrath of God that we need, right? That's why we play Wrath of God in those kind of matchups. So now he has 3 cards in hand. That was only a 2-for-1 plus he needed to pay in his upkeep, but I don't want to force 6 additional damage. And he has more 4-drops. Blastoderm. Yeah, I mean, the Daze is not doing much here. If there would be a mana leak, that would be great, but can never have it. So I have only 5 mana, unfortunately, so I will morph this one. If he has a Lightning Bolt, it's probably game, but we'll see. Definitely, like, the Angel can raise this Blastoderm, since we're only taking 1 damage a turn. If I can flip it, if I'm able to flip it. So we go down to 7. And let's see if he has the Lightning Bolt, because like this is what it's all about, right? Or another Flame Tongue Kavu. But I like the deck, to be honest. Like, I do have some similar deck with Erratic Portal. Oof, Pyrokinesis. Well, that's all the answers. And another threat incoming as well. Oh, that makes it so we are dead on board next turn. Yeah, that comes a little bit too late. So, yeah, otherwise we could have had him off of lands. So, yeah, that was the first game. See you in the next one. And obviously I concede here. All right, here we go. Against Urology. Let's see how it goes. This hand is okay-ish. Quite slow. We have double Meddling Mage. Depending on the... Like, we are on the draw anyway. I think, like, we don't have any interaction with him. Except for those Meddling Mages. And those come out earliest turn 2 with this hand. So I think I'm gonna mulligan. And that's way better. So, we can do turn 1 Wayfarer. We have the Mox Diamond. I will probably ship the Mox Diamond here because I don't need a fast mana for this hand. So let's kick it off. Let's see what he's cooking over there. I think we start with turn 1 Wayfarer into turn 2 activation of Wayfarer if he doesn't have any removal. Oh. Hui, okay. We're up against Balancing Act, I assume? I think that's Balancing Act. Let's see. Double Lotus Petal. Sure. I think now we need to change our strategy, right? I think we need to play Island, keep the Daze. Can he go off next turn? I think he can, right? But he's really tight on mana all the time, and I don't want to like balance and act will just like get rid of the whole of all of our hands. So I think we start with the island here. Um, go more conservative around it. Um, yeah. And now I can hold up. Oh, a Wasteland. Okay. I can hold up mana. I do want to play this one safe because I know he's cooking with 4 or 5 mana. And I think next turn we can deploy Wayfarer plus Wasteland. And that's fine. Because we're never gonna get this Exalted Angel in time. We need to stop what he's doing right now. Impulse? Sure. I mean, it's great if he cashes in a Lotus Petal for an Impulse for us, right? Um, I'm thinking about like also like depends on what he's doing right now. Maybe I will strip here, like Wasteland here. Um, but I'm also not that comfortable in Abeyance. Sure. Okay, so now as he's done that, I will just Wasteland here in his upkeep. Well, in his upkeep, I don't know, like he can then just sack it and go off in his upkeep, but I need to force him to, right? So let's get a stop in his upkeep. Because I don't need to pressure him in any sense. Um, and now I can Wasteland, I think the blue source. Yeah, let's get the blue source. All right, set him back. I still want to hide behind this Mana Leak plus Daze against combo decks. It's another blue source, right? At 1 mana of any color. I think this must be Balancing Tide. Quiet speculation, sure thing. Like most of the time, they just deploy a worm or a deep analysis to get like even to me. So yeah, there's Roar of the Worm, there's Deep Analysis, and there's Ray. That's the normal split that you see. I still want to draw a land here. And if I draw a land, I will deploy the Weathered Wayfarer and then leave up Mana Leak and Daze, and we should be good. The only thing we can't counter, of course, is the 8 mana spell that destroys everything. I don't recall how it's called again, but there we go. So we found a land. Now we will fetch a land, get a plains, and get the Weathered Wayfarer out. Because I think, of course, the Mother of Runes will hold back the worm, but so does our swords to plowshares for the time being. We don't need to pressure him that much. And there's the 4th land. So now I can get recurring wastelands to annoy him. And there's the deep analysis to draw 2 cards. And I think, like, if we strip him of like two potential mana, I think the Daze is quite okay here, isn't it? And maybe he's on 4 mana. Maybe I can just hardcast it here. I will just hardcast it. Or is it even? I don't really know if I should counter the deep analysis. I mean, he will definitely get a lot of value from I will get the second planes for the Angel. Because I can look for Strip Mine every single turn. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Let him draw those cards. That's fine. You don't need to do anything here. I value the Daze really high, so Ankh of Mishra. So what I want to do is just get a Wasteland here. I know it sounds like this game is quite boring, but we need to be really conservative on when we deploy what here, in my opinion. And if we can keep him off lands, that's the best thing to actually go against this deck. And then keep the pressure up. And while like the Wayfarer is always delivering value for us every single turn, so he's literally drawing us a card. And he needs to sacrifice his lands. Burning Wish, fine. No big deal. Like he's stuck on 1, 2, 3 lands, potentially 4 if he sacrifices the temple. What does he get here? Breakthrough? Sure. So here I will just draw a card. Okay. Now we can deploy Mother of Runes and also get in with the Weathered Wayfarer. So get the clock going. And I'm not scared about the Roar of the Worm. I just want to counter balancing acts and stuff like that, and also the 8 mana spell. 4 mana. And now we doubled our clock basically. It takes a lifetime, of course, but if this is just drawing some cards, then it's fine. Sure. So let's take a look at this graveyard after this one. So what does he have here? The Bushwalker, Roar of the Worm, and now Balancing Act. Sure. This is going to be Daze. So I will float the mana and I will Daze. I don't know if something that like that can be done, but that's basically game, isn't it? Because next turn, like we can deploy an Angel and the turn after we just win. Yeah, there we go. So to play conservative here is really important, in my opinion, against this matchup in this matchup. So I do like the Tormod's Crypts. I also like, of course, there's a lot of fast mana going on, but I don't like the Aura of Silence, nor do I like the Annul in this matchup. Because the only thing that he does is he develops quick worms, or he goes for Balancing Act, or he goes for the Obliterate, or whatever it's called. And we do have that covered with, like, the long game is covered with Parallax Tide, and I don't need the Seal of Cleansings either, because the Seal of Cleansings basically don't have any targets except for Lotus Petals and so on. So the only thing I could do is including Wrath of God, but we have 4 swords, and those are for the worms, so that should be fine. Let's see how it goes. That's a Wasteland turn 1. There's a Tormod's Crypt. We don't have any interaction. I'm gonna ship this. That has a Daze plus a Savannah Lion as pressure, so I probably wanna. I will high roll this Parallax Tide. Like it's really important, and we will draw mana eventually. So I think that's a good 6 for us. And of course, turn 2 is not possible, so turn 3 is the combo. And the Wasteland is pretty nice here as well. But I will first get the clock going. And I don't know if he plays this card, so I will play the Tormod's Crypt out. This is also like in most of the matchups, basically you should just like play it and not keep onto it. I made the mistake once. It was net breaking. So okay, we have Meddling Mage. That changes things. So what I do want to do here, because I have the Daze up, is I play Meddling Mage, name Balancing Act. Crush in for 2. And then we have the Daze up as well. So even if he goes Bush Hopper or something like that next turn, Impulse fine. Even if he goes Bush Hopper next turn, which is really a problem for this deck, because he can blink it every single time against the swords, it blocks all the weenies. But now we have a 4 damage clock every single turn, so it should be like plus what we draw for turn clock. We can counter everything he has here around Worms if it costs 4 mana, because he will have like a tapped source again here. That's really great. I will want to keep him off blue mana. So what I'm going to do here is just Wasteland. So next turn he has white and black +2, and we can deal 4 damage here. We don't need to worry about the Balancing Act anymore. And then, of course, we want to get to the point where we can Parallax Tide and then lock this game up. Okay, that's a Swords to Plowshares against the Worm if that's coming our way. It's not the best draw here, because we want to draw lands in order to keep up with... Because we only have the Daze protecting us at the moment. And of course the Tormod's Crypt if he goes for Quiet Speculation. There's the green mana. Best draw is Mana Lake. Sure. Can't do anything about that. He just somewhat time warped me. But he needed to pay like 2 mana for it. So he basically sacked the land for this. Which is okay. It's an okay-ish exchange for us. Deep Analysis? Sure. Lion's Eye Diamond. You got it, mate. Another Lion's Eye Diamond. So we have a lot of things covered with the Swords to Plowshares. I don't want to like crack the Tormod's Crypt right now. There's a Mum. Get in there. Put him down to 6. What I do want to do is I want to deploy the Mother of Runes. Because it doesn't change the clock necessarily, but it blanks Worms for days if it sticks. And it also can push damage through. Even if he plays a Worm, we can give protection green and then go from there. So that's quite nice. Ormus Chant again. All right. Sure. I mean, if he wants to spend his turns on that, that's fine. Now my Mother of Runes is active. And he does get a shit ton of mana. So we need to watch out for this Obliterate thingy. But in order to do so, he needs to discard his hand. So we are somewhat safe, in my opinion. And now he flashes back the Deep Analysis because he's looking for answers. So the main question will be, So now he wants to draw 2 cards. There's another deep analysis in the graveyard. So I will pop this right now because I want him to not be able to draw 2 additional cards, right? So he has 7 mana right here. And those 2 cards that he draws are really key. Okay, there's a Wrath of God. That's fine, I think. Yeah. So now he has basically nothing, right? He has lands, I have lands, and we go from here. And I do want to deploy this angel eventually, and not another Mox Diamond. Well, we'll see. Say draw go. He draws the lands. Come on, land. Okay. I do think that I want to play Mox Diamond instead. And also, like, since we have this Daze, I do want to play the Morph, and hopefully we draw a land next turn. And if we draw a land next turn, I will Parallax. Like, I do want to flip this and then win, because it's on 3 life. But if we need to Daze here, let's see. Let's see. Land would be best, and then we can seal the deal with this angel. And there we go. We didn't have it. Okay, nice. Let's go to the next one. All right, we're here for the next round. Let's see what we're up against. And this is unfortunately not a keeper. This is not ideal. We will ship a Mother of Runes here. So basically we can go turn 1 Faerie, Mox, Mother, and then we go from there. It's not the best start and the best starting hand, to be honest, but I think we get rid of the Wasteland here. Faerie Conclave, Mother, say go. And probably we are up against control. Plains, swords, okay. Got it covered. We got that one covered. So Mishra is actually not a bad draw. Go for another Mother of Runes. And next time we can start the pressure. We have the Seal of Cleansing for potential. Oh, there's an Ankh, but he has obviously he has the counter spell here. So what I will do is just activate the Mishra's Factory. Get in for 2. Hold the Mother of Runes up. Impulse. So yeah, that's against control. And pre-board, this matchup is quite... It's interesting, right? So we have the tides. If we can resolve a tide and then push damage through, it's fine. I don't want to play, like, if he holds back all the time. Okay, there's the Mishra's Factory from on his side. So here I will play the Ankh into a potential counterspell. Then follow it up with the Savannah Lion if he counters with a Mana Leak. Of course, next turn he can have potentially like a Wrath of God. He wants to counter that one, that's fine. I don't want to overextend here, but I think like there's no overextending per se, because we can't play around a Wrath of God. And it's quite challenging in game 1. We'll get better after sideboarding. And the Seal of Cleansing will take care of the Mishra. Dust Bowl on my Mishra. Fair. So in that case, let's just deploy the Seal of Cleansing and get in with the Savannah line. And now with the Seal of Cleansing, we have a recurring way. Like, I will definitely like push damage through, even though it's just a few points of damage each every single turn. But we need to build pressure here, and that's always challenging. Like in the past versions of this deck, it was even worse because we didn't have access to Savannah Lions. 4 mana. He wants to blow up my lands. Like I'm not 100% agreeing on that line here from his end, but if he wants to, hey, maybe he has like two additional lands here, and then it makes sense. Okay, that's a Sword Explosion. That's literally dead. I don't think the Savannah line will get there in the long game, but he's also cut himself off of white mana, which is pretty important to notice. Not only that he's cut himself off of white mana, but also like this Mishra is potentially not gonna cover anything of this. Okay, there's the white mana, there's potentially the Angel, I assume. 3 mana. Sorcery. Chain of Vapor, eh? I mean, sure. Standstill. Yup. Okay. So here we just go beats. I could have attacked with the Mother of Runes as well. I think that was a mistake because, like, even if he has the... Okay. I don't think we can attack here, even though we have the Swords to Plowshares. I don't want him to draw 3 cards, so... He's drawing all the lands. Okay, fair enough. There's a Wasteland. That's a good draw. Because now we can do this, and now he's forced to either like draw another Mishra's Factory to block my Savannah Lion beats, or he is cracking the standstill, or of course he has a decree. But we can then like save our lion. And if he's shipping the turn without doing anything, like he's blocking himself with his standstill. So let's see how that goes. He's on 7 life right now. And he can do like literally, he can like create 2 tokens or what? Fact or fiction. Okay, let me draw 3 cards. And this is insane. Like not a single land. He can get either yeah, I mean, I don't care about counterspell, do I? Like not at all. He takes the 2 counterspells? Sure. Clean up. Yeah, I guess like what can't we deploy? Angel? And I think we get rid of like we never resolve an Ankh here. That's not possible, right? Like we never resolve anything of this. Except the sword, maybe. End of turn. Now his hand, like we know his hand is double counterspell, the land he just played. And then now he has a Wrath of God, and then that will seal a humility, okay? Yeah. Got it. Okay. Adarkar Wastes. So he has the counterspell. We unfortunately we have the Daze, but we didn't draw an island. So I will play nothing in this counterspell, but rather deploy a Mishra's Factory here and get in for 2. Because now I need to like push with the Mishra's Factory, right? And we know that his hand is double counterspell, double unknown. So let's see. Humility definitely better here for us than Wrath of God. Okay, here's the Mishra's Factory from his side. And that's a problem because we need to draw Wasteland. Exactly. Coastal Tower. So yeah, he can eat one of those and kill the Mishra's Factory. I will play the Adarkar Wastes and I will activate the Mishra. Do I? I can push 2 damage through. Yeah, we'll do that. Because I have also the Swords to Plowshares, which will be like countered, definitely. But I will accept the trade here because I need to push for damage. And if I'm sitting here, I'm just making things worse. But not doing anything. Double counterspell in hand. Activating the Mishra. Yes, sir. So before blocks, I want to attempt and get 1 counterspell out of his hand because we have so many Swords to Plowshares, doesn't matter. And if he counters that, fair enough. Okay. Mana Leak. That's fine. I know that his hand is 2 counterspells now. And he can eat up, like, one of my tiny creatures here and get 2 damage, or he can trade. So let's see. Because if I haven't done the, or didn't go for the swords here, and he needed to mana leak, he could have, like, just blown up the Mishra by Dust Bowling, right? So that's also important to notice and to mention. So let's see what he does here. Quite interesting one. And we didn't draw a single island, by the way, to get our Daze. Okay, so this is a Swords on a Mishra, fair enough. And then he blocks one of the creatures and gets 1 damage, so he's at 4. His hand is double counterspell, and we know that. And that's basically his hand. Double counterspell, 1 unknown. Okay. So he can counter 1 of my spells. I will have 1 mana. If I draw exactly island... Oh no, can't do that. He's not even blowing the land off. Okay. So he has double counterspell in hand. Now we get the island. And I will get 1 counterspell from him by like playing the Seal of Cleansing. Counterspell. No counterspell. Okay. Then we'll push through with the Savannah Lion. He's on 3. Decree. Okay. Four tokens. Yes, sir. Do I sort the one? Okay, so that's a tricky one right here. So I can sort this. He's at 4. I keep the Savannah Lion. I can potentially kill the Mishra. He has blockers for Daze. I don't think that this lion will get there, so I just let it go. We can potentially like blow up the humility, which is a good thing eventually. Because we're at 22 still, right? So that's fine. He attempts to blow off my land, that's also fine. Yeah, there you go. We got it. Okay, so he has double counterspell open. So now, what can we do here? I can play just islands because otherwise he would just blow off my coastal tower. And I think it just makes sense not to play the Ankh here. Even though I draw one counterspell out there, but the Daze is not live, so doesn't make any sense. I just ship the turn here. I will definitely trade the Seal of Cleansing with the Mishra though. I think. And we leave Mana Leak up so that if something comes... Seal of Cleansing. Sure. Blows up the Mox. Sure. So now he has only one counterspell up, right? Yeah. So that's a good draw. The the problem is that it's just getting countered. But either way, we need to fetch for planes, get the Wayfarer out, let this be countered because it can look like if this sticks, right? Yeah, can't let it go. Okay, so Coastal Tower it is. Now he needs to blow up one of his lands to get my Coastal Tower off the board, which is also fine. It's not optimal for us because we take 3 damage a turn, but so now he has one counterspell plus Daze up, which is annoying. Meddling Mage. So that will take the second counterspell. No, it doesn't because I messed up. But on the flip side, if this Meddling Mage resolves, like attacks and comes through, then we might have a clock. Another Ankh, okay. So now I will attack. Another Decree, okay. But I think that's good, right? So I will attack. We'll trade, that's fine. We'll take, like, this is a 2-turn clock. That's a double block, sure. Because otherwise I could have... Yeah, I'll just let that go. So if I play the Ankh, he has enough mana, right? So that doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it does not. Yeah, tough one. Tough one. I think we lost that one. I don't know, like, whether I should have just get rid of the humility. I will plow one of those because it lowers the clock by 1 turn because, like, 8 and 8. So 4 and 4 and also again 4. There's the plains, a little bit too late. Yeah. Is there any draw that we can have? Or is there another decree? Chain? Yeah, that's game, right? Yeah, that's game. Okay. Let's go to the sideboard. I think this is... Damn it, it's every single time because it's so large here. I think it's okay to against this matchup to bring in, like, literally... Do we want to have Aura of Silence? I mean, we just drew the wrong half of the deck, because if we would have drawn Parallax Tide plus one counterspell, we would have got there. They're playing Standstills, which I want to annul. They also play... What is annoying in this Mishras, of course, which we can also tackle with the Aura of Silence. So I wanna play Aura of Silence because it's so annoying for him. It's also annoying for me, but not that much. Like, I don't like Silver Knights here. I do like the Annuls. I'm just not sure whether, like, Daze was just a dead card in my hand for most of the time. Of course, I love counterspells in that matchup to just fight on it. But most of the time he has so much mana that it doesn't matter. The Ankh should have, like, if that would have resolved earlier, great. I don't like the swords, obviously, and that's basically it, right? Yeah, try it like that. Yeah, tough matchup, to be honest. Like, I need to play the aggressive game plan, and we need Ankhs for this. I can keep this, to be honest. Like, I will find a blue source, and then we have 3 mana for the Exalted Angel, so I'm fine. I think we can be fine here. And to kickstart it with 2 double Ankh of Mishra in this matchup, triple one. Double Ankh of Mishra in this matchup is great. So we have a tiny clock going. And especially he has also, like, he has this is must counters for him. And this is 2 damage for me, which doesn't matter in this matchup. Like, not at all. You have seen in the last game how long it took for him to actually get something going there in terms of damage. So I will go out with the third one. Okay, that just resolved. Then I take 4 damage, that's fine. That's fine. Because I don't mind going down to whatever, like 10 life here. He goes to 11. Okay. Now we'll deploy Mother of Runes, see what he does. Okay, lets it resolve. I won't fetch here. Faerie Conclave. Fine. I will attack with the Mother of Runes. If he wants to sword, then he can sword. I will fetch here for an island. Take 4. Go to 7. And now we put out a morph. Get that mana leaked. Okay. Maybe he also has Wrath of God. But now we enabled our whole deck, whereas he needs to play more lands in order to keep up. And he can't afford to, right? So we have pressure on the board. And this is exactly what I meant with Ankh. It's like it's more beneficial for us and we can play around it. So for example, if I draw a Mox right now, I can also like extend further. And for him, it's also always 4 damage. And now we have Lethal on board, right? So now we get our next land. take 4 damage, get this morph into a proper angel for us, and just swing. Let's see what he has here. Like, he can activate the Faerie Conclaves, we get 4 lives. And that's totally fine. Like, we go back to 6. But now he needs to, like, consistently play more lands, right? And now we don't need to play any more lands, to be honest. And he's cycling Decree. Okay, fair enough. You got it. So we're back to 6 life. I don't need to play any more lands because we're fine with 4. And we have like Swords to Plowshares covered with the Mother of Runes. So that's okay. So those Ankhs are pretty nice in the control matchup, and you see he scooped it up. Yeah, I think we can just play like that. I do like Daze on the draw because he can go into a potential standstill on turn 2. Nah. I will play 1 Swords to Plowshares for his Mishra, but I have the Seal of Cleansing. Nah, I'm fine. I'm fine like that. Like, the Aura of Silence was not great in this scenario, but we were all in on the Ankh plan, right? So, and there's also the Ankh point 2 plan. And we have the Weathered Wayfarer, which is also great for us. Not on turn 2, but I try to... Okay, there's the turn 1 Weathered Wayfarer, which is amazing. Like, against control, you always want to have turn 1 Wayfarer. Because this gets Wastelands for days, right? For us. So, a 1-lander? Seriously? Of course not. He's just not playing the lands. So what I'm gonna do here is I leave up a null. Or do I? Like, did he bring in annuls here? I don't know. I can just extend my board further and just make him... Like, the Wasteland is not great here, but because I want to eventually... But he needs to do this anyway, right? So I will just Wasteland here. Stifle. Okay. You got it, mate. You got it. Mother of Runes. There you go. And swing. He's playing Stifle. So he's playing Tide then. Like, I'm sure he's playing Tide, right? Seal of Cleansing. Okay. So now the fun begins, ladies and gentlemen. We can do the following. Search for a Wasteland. Play a Wasteland. Get rid of the Mishra's Factory. I mean, we have a lot of answers for Mishra's Factory anyways, but we can do this for days now, right? Like, we have like 3 Wastelands in the deck. He's not playing any lands, obviously. Like, this card is just insanely good. Like, okay, so right now, what do we do? I will deploy an Ankh of Mishra so that he can kill it, basically, and attack for 1. And you can see what this deck does in particular, right? It forces you basically to either not play lands or play lands, and it costs life if you play lands, right? So it's just like a lot of like back and forth for the opponent. And there's the Parallax Tide. So if we can resolve that, we have basically a win here. And I will play the Seal of Cleansing into his Seal of Cleansing, I think. Whoopsie doopsie. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. I will play it like that. There we go. Okay, now attack with the Wayfarer. I keep the Mother of Runes at bay because, like, if we draw an angel, we want to have this supported and covered by swords. Blank his sword. Standstill. Impulse. Standstill would be awful for him, I think. Island, okay. So look, if he has exactly Annul, it doesn't work. But I will go for it, right? Yeah, like you can't if you play around Annul, fair enough. I won't. I just won't. Like if this resolves, we just win. Because we hold priority. I need to double check if that works with my controls here. Yeah, that makes sense what he does here. So now what happens is I take all of his lands. I get in for 2. Not only 1, but 2. Sure. Combat. Chain of Vapor. Yeah. They come back. So I could have targeted something else. But of course, if he has Chain of Vapor in the exact spot, then like what I would have done is basically exile all of his lands. Now he has a counterspell up, obviously, and then play Ankh of Mishra, right? But right now there's 4 lands. I do want to play into counterspell because if I do, in this scenario, we can push 2 damage through again. And I will do 2 damage also with the mother because right now it doesn't really matter. I do want to have Annul open. But we are attacking from so many. Okay, that doesn't really matter anymore, but fair. Okay, there's another Tide. He needs to have exactly counterspell again or mana leak. But I would rather. I hate this one, right? That it's not. I want to play Ankh here. Okay, that immediately resolved. In that case, let's try again, shall we? I mean, I'm fetching here afterwards, and I just wanted to play this into a counterspell, basically, but if it happens, it happens. All right. Hold control. Well, I don't need to hold control, basically. I was just... Okay. So we do this. We skip it, like, we go to the next phase. If he wants to... Chain of Vapor, we at least get 2 lands. Okay, now we hold priority, pick up those 2, exile 2 lands. Then he destroys it. And then he gets, like, literally 8 damage. So he's at 1. So let's see if he can get out of this one. Because he could choose like to either kill Ankh, right? Or okay, there's his tide. And there we go, right? He could have chosen to go for the Ankh with the disenchant, but then he wouldn't have had any lands for the next couple of turns. Um, but yeah, that's game number 2. See what this deck can do. See you next round. All right, guys, we're here for the next round against MTO Bazaar 6. We gotta keep. We gotta turn 1. See what he does, right? If this is creature based, there's a Birds of Paradise. Like, I do think it's always to correct play to get him off mana before we develop our board here. Depending on like the deck that he's playing. White, green creatures. Let's see. If this is Mirari's Wake, white-green stuff, that would be fun. I don't know what to name here actually with the Meddling Mage yet, so I will go out with the Savannah Lion plus Mother of Runes. If this is actually the deck with Mirari's Wake, he plays like 3 Wrath of Gods, so this will be a bit annoying. Okay, there's the sword, so he probably doesn't have the Wrath of God. Okay, blue as well. Spicy. Oh, it's a Luren, eh? So we need to find counterspells now. I think I will play the Ankh next. I can Meddling Mage on a Luren. Because he already used the swords to Plowshares, so I can basically just deploy the Meddling Mage here. I can also name Manowar, but if he bounces it back, I can just name it again. So we'll name Alluren. It's not the black version of Alluren for sure. And I will Wasteland here. No need to develop to deploy the Ankh of Mishra nor the Coastal Tower at the moment because I will have plenty of time later on. And now he can't pay Echo for this. So let's see. Okay, there's the black. Okay, he's playing 4 color then. Living Wish, eh? Fine. Okay, what does he get here? Okay, fair. We got that covered. Like we got everything covered. He's just like playing. Unfortunately, this Daze is again like I probably like need to trim down Daze, since like we don't play enough islands. Probably. I think this list plays 3 or 2. But let's see what he does here. But you can see that this Ankh of Mishra plus the beanies are a pretty nice clock actually. And a bird, sure. So I'll take 2 damage here, that's fine. And then just go for the swords. Leave up hardcast Daze, which is not relevant anymore because he has the bird for the 5th mana. But maybe, just maybe, if he plays like Harpy plus Raven Familiar or something like that, it's 5 mana in total, so I can Daze one of his plays. And now the pressure is on, plus the Ankh. Yeah, so we got this one. So Allurin, and I don't know why this is always... Okay, he just scooped up the match. Well, that was a quick one. See you in the next one. All right, we're here for the next round. Let's see what we got. This is way too many lands. This is way too many lands as well, but I think we keep because we have 2 Mishra's factories. I think, though, we can ship 1 Flooded Strand here. And we can lead on Mother of Runes. Okay, it's Allurin again. I think this is the exact same guy. Turn 2, I'm not really scared of anything, I would say. So I will deploy a Mishra's factory. And that's fine. Best play here would have been an Ankh of Mishra. Well, I would have loved to counter this. Haven't seen this in the last matchup, so well, but there is a... I will definitely deploy the Ankh right now. And I think I will keep the Mother of Runes at bay. I haven't seen the survival in the last matchup, but now a fetch land is awesome for us. That's 4 damage. And we can pressure pretty heavily with those Mishras, right? Okay, now the survival of the fittest with the squee. Blossoms. A little bit annoying. Like, this deck doesn't like walls. Not at all. We will deploy Mishra for 2 damage. And right now, question being, do I want to push 2 damage through? And I think the answer is yes. I just don't know which one of those Mishras were... Okay, I just clicked on the right one. So this gets pro green. So we can push 3 damage through every single turn, and he needs to play lands to deploy his board. And we have the mana leak, which is a good spot to be in. We can also utilize both Mishra's factories, of course, to push even more damage through. The Symbol Library is fine. I don't really care. I think we are all in. Like, if he doesn't even activate the Survival of the Fittest, I'm fine. He can get another wall, which would be annoying. Okay. There's a Seal of Cleansing. It's also not bad. I'm not sure whether I actually want to get rid of the survival right here, because I do want to push damage through. That's a tough one. I take 2 damage here, definitely. And I want to leave up Mana Leak. So I will deploy the Seal of Cleansing this turn. And I think I'm gonna blow this up right away. He will, like, in response, he will get rid of the squee and get another card, but I think it's really important because you can just wall for days, and this is really annoying. What did he get here? I missed that. Another wall. Okay. I mean, another wall is fine. We can still like utilize the Mother of Runes to give it like pro green and then just hit through it. And the Silver Library is just card selection, not card value, because he can't probably like spend so much life on this. Apparently some good cards in there, since it's taking him a lifetime. So best top deck would be Tide. Okay, I don't care about this. Best would be Tide. Because we have this guy. Okay, there's another survival. Do I actually care? Do I? I think I don't really care. Like everything that's not green is a pain in the ass for me, so right now what we're gonna do is get this Mishra activated, give it pro green, get in for 3. We can do it right away. Of course the sequence is not optimal and I know that, but since he's tapped out, I don't really care. So now there's no activation possible anymore for survival, for library. And we still have the mana leak if there's something that's actually annoying to us. I think this is annoying. Yeah, I think this is worth countering. Definitely. Okay, and now he swords fair. Yeah, he just walled us there. There's another mana leak. Yeah, no need to attack here. As mentioned prior, this deck doesn't like walls. because it has weenies chipping in all the time. But that's always the case, right? So Survival Rock is not the best one. Rock per se. And then also decks like this where you have survival plus a lot of green creatures that are annoying. But he's down to 5 here, so let's see. Birds of Paradise. You got it, mate. Spike Feeder. So this is a must counter for me. He's probably playing the combo as well. But I'm not 100% sure whether this is also having a Lurin. But anyways, I name a Lurin here, right? Because I saw the Raven, and this is really annoying for me. But he can search whatever he wants. So I'm in a really bad spot at the moment. Because he has the library ready. Like we haven't been able to get rid of his second survival yet. And he blocks us with walls. But I will go all in attack if this Meddling Mage sticks, right? So we have 3 creatures. He needs to chump if... Like next turn we can go all in and at least push 2 damage through. There's another wall, so this is off the table now. And I think we can scoop it up. I have one out, and this is basically like drawing Tide. And we have 3 of those in the deck. So, and we have seen plenty of lands already. Spike Feeder. Well, that makes it so that he's at virtual 9, but we can deal 10 damage with the Tide. So Tide, here we go. Well, I think we wait one more turn and then we scoop it up. Because I can look for every single creature he wants. But from experience, I can say that those games where it looks like you've lost already, and then you scoop them up, and then the next possible draw would have been the card that you searched for, is worth sitting here still. Raven Familiar, sure. So I definitely want to play Wrath of God after sideboarding. And you can see my beautiful background, oddly. Birds of Paradise, sure. I mean, what does he need this mana for? I don't know. Let's see. I think you can, like, if you have Survival of the Fittest and you have your combo, it should be crystal clear that you can win from there, but apparently he can't. So, and right now, when he doesn't pay for the Raven Familiar, he can chip in for 3 damage a turn. If he is not paying for it, which I think he will. So this is not lost, ladies and gentlemen, not yet. He will pay for it. I have the swords to cover it, and then I can just give pro green and bash through. Of course, he's at the virtual 9, right? Ten if I sought this. He's playing so slow as well. So maybe I will speed up the recording to 1.2. But I don't blame him. Like, this deck is probably not easy to play, but to be honest with you, like, if you have Spike Feeder, Raven Familiar, and of course I have a Meddling Mage named Allurin, but you should have one already, right? Otherwise your deck is not functioning. That's Manowar. And now he probably bounces the Meddling Mage. Another Raven Familiar? Sure. But if he doesn't play it that turn, like Mother of Runes can get in the way, right? So Manowar doesn't do anything. I will not use the Swords to Plowshares here. That's an Angel, ladies and gentlemen. And I take 2 damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hardcast Angel. I do want to hardcast here because it can block then eventually, and otherwise it's 7 mana, and I want to keep the Swords to Plowshares up. And I want to have that flipped already. So let's see if the Angel wins the game here. At least I feel more comfortable right now with this on the board, obviously. So let's see. He lets it go. And of course he has creatures to block this Angel for days, but if I can Swords end of turn, the Raven Familiar, give this pro green and then attack, obviously that leaves me open to Swords to Plowshares from his end. So I will eventually, this will take a lifetime, but in the end we will still win. Let's see. Meddling Mage, A. Will he name Swords to Plowshares? If he names Swords to Plowshares, it's good for me, right? Because then he can't Swords to Plow my Angel. So it should be okay. Maybe he names Tide. Swords to Plowshares, okay. Fair. There's the Harpy. And now he has the combo where he can actually pay mana all the time. And does he get infinite life here? I don't know. I mean, he can return this. Okay, now he has infinite draws, right? Yeah. Tide? No Tide. I will give this pro blue and attack. Do I? Yeah, I do. Right? Yeah, pro blue. And then crush in. Because as he has like kind of we go back to 15, he's at 1. So I'm really interested in, because he doesn't have infinite mana. So he can do this twice a turn maybe. Let's see. I'm just really curious how he will get out of this one. Because he can like draw as many cards as he wants. And the Manowar is also able to bounce the Angel, for example. That's fine as well. So I just replay it. Let's see. And I just like spend some time until I find a Tide. And if I find a Tide and he has no Allurin in play, he can't instantly like bounce it, for example, or interact with it. So then all the lands come back in the next cycle, and then we should be able to win. Because the mana constraints here is the main thing, right? There's the Manowar. Yes. Targeting the Angel. Targeting the Spike Feeder. Okay. You got it. And then replaying it, getting 4 life again. Okay, not yet. Fair. Okay, there's a mana leak. I will just attack here, because either way he will just block. He can block and bounce. But that also like lets him get a damage. And I don't need the life here. So he will just block and bounce. Then next turn, if he doesn't play it right, I can mana leak the right play. Especially Cavern Harpy. He can search for another Harpy, sure, but let's see. Okay, survival. This is actually more interested than I thought it would be. Auramancer, eh? For those of you who don't know Auramancer, gets a enchantment from the graveyard to your hand. But he doesn't have any except for survival, so I'm not really threatened by that at the moment. So he can't play any land. This is also important to notice. But he has 4 Birds of Paradise, so. But if he doesn't play any flyer, right? If I can counter his flyer and I can give this pro green, then I have to win. So let's see. Meddling Mage. Sure, you got it. Just name anything you want, except Mana Leak. You won't name Mana Leak here in this spot, right? Counterspell, yeah. And of course I can't counter the Harpy right now because he has triple bird. But if he extends, let's see. Okay, he doesn't play anything. Okay. Interesting. Harpy. Yeah, I can't counter that right now. This is just, yeah, draw a card. And if he wants to bounce that, he needs to pay a life. So I want to counter a Spike Feeder, and he already has one in the graveyard. So probably those lists only play two. Because it's somewhat a payoff. He bounced the Manowar, which is okay, because we have the Mother of Runes. Now he has 5 mana left. So every 3 mana spell we can counter, and then now he gives up. So basically, hopefully that would... Nah, no tide. But anyway, that was initially game 2. So on to the next one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, last round. Double Wasteland hand. Nothing you want to see. So let's mull that away. That's as well the double Wasteland hand, but we keep it. And I think we go all in on the Ankh of Mishra plan here. I will skip this. I will ship one Wasteland here, I think. He's on the play, so let's see. City of Brass. Sleight of hand. That seems like either this is Groggotok or it's some kind of combo deck. So either way, I will Wasteland his first land, I think. There's an Angel, which is quite late, early to the party. So next turn I will... Okay, no land. That's awesome for me. We play Flooded Strand here. So there's probably not that many lands that he plays because he's a combo deck. So I will... Do I actually want to? I do think I want to deploy the Ankh anyway because it's somewhat of a clock and it doesn't care. I don't really care about it. I do want to play into a potential Wasteland if he probably doesn't play Wasteland, but since I have 2 more lands, it makes sense. Next turn Angel, turn after Flip Angel, let's go. Fetch land, I like that. Maybe also keeping the Mana Leak up. I don't know yet. Let's see. It always depends on the matchup, right? So if there's another sleight of hand, he probably Portent, yeah. He will find another land, and with 2 mana to win in Premodern is quite unlikely. So I think I will deploy the Angel and then leave up Mana Leak and a potential flip end of turn. In this whole video series, you have seen the Ankh Tide combo only once, so hopefully we'll make up for that in this game. So now he draws a card in my upkeep, sure. And now I will Island and see a morph of mine. He's at virtual 12. If that's a fetch land, even less. Opt, main phase, sure. Good sign. Underground River. All right. So the question is, do I flip here? Because like next turn, I think I want to play Plains. Just attack for 2. Leave up Mana Leak. And if he doesn't do anything, because like comboing at instant speed is something that I don't think he will do. And then we have 10, 9. Yeah, so then we have 4 plus 2, so 7. If he wants to use that as color mana, he's at 8, virtual 6. Always counterclock, gentlemen. There's another land, so he's at 7. And I think with 3 lands you can combo right away, depending on what his hand is. So that's why I kept the Mana League open. And it is a combo deck indeed. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. 6 mana. Cunning Wish A. Okay, this is the I make a shit ton of beast thingy. And this costs, like the beast card costs 8 mana, so I will definitely counter this one. Or try to counter it. So it's only 5 mana and this is the game, yeah. So for those of you who are not familiar with the beast card, it's a 7 mana, make Storm, make a 4/4 beast. So against this deck, what it actually does is either go for the Ill-Gotten Gains strategy, where I need the Tormod scripts for. Other than that, I think I'm just fine. Like Aura of Silence always is a thing, but he plays Storm and we have counter spells. So that's basically all we need. So I even cut the Seal of Cleansings, but because they don't do anything. Most of the good like Storm players know that they don't play out like the Lion's Eye Diamond, except for the turn where they actually play it. So I think that's okay-ish. We can go with one Wrath of God for the Storm go off spell, but I think that's too niche for an area. Because we need to have exactly the 1-off or 2-off Wrath of God when he produced like 22 beasts. And that's not the right way to go in my opinion. Yep, why not? This can name, like, this is always the case in those matchups, right? So this can name Ill-Gotten Gains. This can name multiple things. He probably has like only one bounce spell. This is great to have later on. We will kickstart with a Lion because like Mother of Runes is not that great in that matchup because they only have like bounce spells like Chain of Vapor, probably. Chain of Vapor or Boomerang-ish kind of card. They don't really care about the board at the moment. Next turn we'll go Meddling Mage for Ill-Gotten Gains and then have Daze up. This one of Daze is shining, mate. This is like I didn't think that it was that good. All right, so we crash in for 2. Play Island and then Meddling Mage. And then we name Ill. How's it called? God damn it, I need to Google it. It's called Ill-Gotten Gains, but ill. Is it with a Ill-Gotten Gains? There we go. We have it. We have it. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Ill-Gotten Gains is a 4 mana spell that says exile all ill-gotten gains. Each player discards their hand, then returns up to 3 cards from their graveyard to their hand. So what it basically does, it loops your graveyard um, and loops your storm counts through your graveyard. And this is also why I put like Tormod's Crypt in it, because if you nuke the graveyard once and for all, then he has no, like, he needs to rebuild the whole graveyard in order to make this combo work. And right now we have a somewhat, I would assume with the Ankh of Mishra, a 4-turn clock. Because I want to play the Swords to Plowshares are just dead, but we don't have anything else except for Annuls and stuff like that, and I want to play those here. And I don't want to, like, fake a counterspell here, to be honest, because the Daze might be enough for some of his plays, because he's playing exactly for the either 7 mana or 4 mana plus graveyard plays. And it dealt 2 additional damage, which makes it a 3-turn clock. The rest? Oh, he goes for it, okay. 3 mana. Rain of Flash, okay. Let's see if this Daze holds. And no one is thinking about the Daze, one of Daze in the Ankh of Mishra deck, right? This is just the sneaky little bitch here. Let's see. Okay, just for 3 mana, fine. Cunning Wish. And then he has, yeah, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have double sword, right? So I don't want to play into his storm count. See, that's the card. It's called Hunting Pack. And it creates a 4/4 beast token. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and he has 1 mana open, so I can't play around it. So that's 6 4/4s. So now I can, like, he has 5 4/4s. I can block 1, so he goes down to 3 because he has no fodder anymore, right? So we just need to survive this. So I think I'm going to deploy Mother of Runes here just to blank 1 later on. Unfortunately, like, I would have survived, like, he's attacking with everything. 1, 2, and then recurring. Yeah, that was the wrong play. I should have sorted, but yeah, anyway, this is lost. And see, even in this exact same situation, even with the Wrath of God, I would be 2 mana short. This is lagging so much. See, Magic Online is not. I think I will play for Wrath of God. I will try it out. It's better than Swords to Plowshares. And all the other stuff is just not relevant. I mean, I can play Silver Knights just to increase the clock, but I don't think that's the right way to do it. I mean, the Annuls can be good against the Lion's Eye Diamonds, but yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. Now we're on the play. And this is a keeper. Because we have Wastelands for Daze with the Wayfarer. We start with Mox Diamond from Coastal Tower because he has no way to get rid of a Mox Diamond except for bouncing it and we can replay it. We'll start Mox Diamond Wayfarer. He plays a land. We search for a Wasteland. We search for a Wasteland. Because he's just playing like a few islands and swamps. So here we are, game 3. I'm really impressed by Wayfarer, to be honest. Like in this deck in general. And even if he's just going for an island here, we can then just get another thing with Wayfarer next turn. We just get 1 card plus every single turn, which is enough in my opinion. There's the Wrath of God. So I think I get fetch land. I get fetch land here. So that's my first land basically, right? So if he plays the next land, and if it's like a non-basic, we can just like strip him for days. Okay. Portent again. So that now that we have hunting pack covered, and he doesn't know about it, we can just start like continue developing our board. And I think what I'm going to do is just activate this again. I want to get lands out of the deck, do I? Because I want to draw actual spells. So now I get like plains and islands. Because the Ill-Gotten Gains combo is a turn 3 combo basically, potentially. So I need to play Meddling Mage on Ill-Gotten Gains again. And now we have a small clock. Really tiny one here. 3 damage a turn, but it should do. And he needs to play like a non-basic land eventually. Apparently not. We saw all the non-basic lands in the first 2 games. Opt again. So his hand needs to be packed right now. I will keep up Mana Leak for the next couple of turns. But first of all, we'll activate our beautiful friend, Mr. Wayfarer. So here, and this new iteration, to be fair, I also included 1 Core Haven for the Dreadnought matchups in the sideboard, I think, but not in this version. I think it's something to consider. Get a Flooded Strand out, attack for 2. There is an argument for playing Mishra here, just to increase the potential clock. But I think we are all in on this next turn Mishra or Wasteland, Angel plus. Okay. Well, we can Wasteland that, right? So I will activate our friend, get a Wasteland, Wasteland you. And then we have Mother of Runes to increase the clock, and then Mana Leak back up. And I don't care for the Mother of Runes to be like giving us protection from anything, so we just crush it for 4. Alright, so I don't want to... Since we have the next Wasteland, I think it makes total sense to just crush in here. And I'm not like really interested in activating this anymore, because the next land that he plays is covered by the Wasteland. And now what we can do is 1, 2, 3 morph. And the next turn we have 7 damage on board, leave basically 9 damage with the Mishra. And he still needs to slide off hand to find an answer. And even if he goes for the For the big guys, I think we cover with Wrath of God and then we chip in with the Mishra's Factory because it costs him literally everything that he has. Okay. So now I will fetch, get an island. See, the deck plays 2 islands with the Daze. So I will just strip again here. Do I want to flip here is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's a 2-tone clock anyway, right? So we actually don't care. I didn't miss lethal anyway, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, maybe I missed lethal here. Maybe. But he needs to have some, yeah, see? Snap, sure. We will just replay it, to be honest. But I want to fake a counter spell. So that he's not even thinking around, like, can I play around mana leak, yada yada yada, but he's aware that I have the counter spell. And that's the game. All right, guys, we're back here for a quick conclusion of the deck. What worked, what didn't work. So we faced a lot of creature-based matchups, and I think I highlighted it in the game already, is that if we are playing against like wall-based decks, this is where this version shines less than the typical Ankh Tide without that many weenies. I do like the inclusion of the Savannah Lion here, to be honest, and cut it trimming down one Parallax Tide, even though we didn't see those quite frequently in the games. You can see that in the Ankhs or with the Ankhs, you can actually build a lot of pressure already. Additionally, with the Wastelands and the pressure going on from your weenies. For the sideboard options, I don't think that you need to lean more into like combo matchups because as you saw prior, like there's 3 mana leaks, there's Daze, you got pressure, you get the Weathered Wayfarer to keep in check their lands in check, or you have the Parallax Tide turn 4 to keep their lands in check. So all in all, I like this version a lot better than a previous version of mine where I slotted in standstills because I just think that standstill currently is not good in the meta. Um, However, this deck struggles a lot with the walls, and I don't see anything out of it, like how we can overcome this, except for like going all in on the angels. But nonetheless, here's the 5 games, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye.